Hello, everyone. Happy final night of the Scorpio full moon. I just burned out my final candle. I am actually making space in my car tonight. True digital nomad style. My hosts, I didn't want to interfere in their space, and I thought I'd try it out in my car. I have purple lights, so that's why I am kind of shiny. Oh, there we go. Hi. We're a little up close and personal, but I ain't mad. Today is kind of a special day because Zephyr bought me my first ever pair of high heels. I am so stoked. We went to a thrift store, and I was gifted just like a glow up of a wardrobe, and I cannot wait to I'm a Libra, so those things are very important. Feeling beautiful and just like comfortable, I guess, in how I present to the world. Not necessarily sticking to traditional beauty standards, but just feeling authentic in what I am, how I feel inside. So it's exciting, and I thought I would pull some cards from the Deviant Moon Tarot, since we are enjoying this Scorpio time, and we all know our deviant Scorpios. And I just love this deck. I actually got it in New Orleans. I wasn't planning on getting a deck, but I saw that it was like really well priced, and so I was like, well, I mean, it was just like priced the same it would be at my local little shop. So I got it as a good souvenir, and then, which I actually got the borderless version, but Nimue have the borders, and I kind of dig, the traditional like borders on the inner photo. So and Nimue loved the borderless, so we switched, and so now I have a little piece of Nimue, that magic coming through with my Deviant Moon readings, and she gets to carry a piece of me in New Orleans. Very exciting time in the world right now. I was talking with Nimue today, actually, just about how well things are going, and you almost, want to feel guilty because there are so many people going through it, but it's like we have to sort of uphold as much joy as we can, anchor that, and be whatever part of the spectrum we are, to our fullest authenticity. And I even have to break, because I feel comfortable being in joy, because I went into despair pretty hard the past at points in the past week. But I have to stop putting value in suffering, in seeing me as more deserving of joy because I suffered, or less deserving of joy because I haven't, or as if there is this quantification of time-space that, when you really densify the experience, the emotional experience, or even just collect, your time and say, all right, this is a thing that is now valuable for something that it wasn't created in. It can no longer, it just doesn't work that way. I think that a lot, in my sort of conscious awakening, how at some points it feels like waking up earlier than other people was sort of a burden, but can be a gift. And it's there is no, people who wake up later having to suffer, later. Or people who... Oh! We went dark, ladies and gents. Or people, who... woke up earlier being any deserving of more, joy. It's just like we're all here where we're at, and the true essence of how I serve is to make it so that people don't feel like they have to choose suffering or feel trapped in choosing suffering. I know I've said this before, but it's just like really, because it used to be like you needed the dark to appreciate the light. Behind the brightness of the light was this, almost supportive shadow. But exiting that paradigm now, it is understanding the light as an integral facet, an integral sort of force behind the hologram, and the shadow just being an option and a gift. Our gift of Maya, of forgetting to wake others up, or to think that they should be awake, or to steal that blessing, from someone else's autonomy. Not a good look, and not very fun. It is such a wonderful experience when you do get to be a part of someone else's awakening, and it's like, oh, have you heard about this, or whatever, and they, are on it with you. But I've also had the other side where I'm like, listen, and they're just like, no. You probably can't see because of light, but I sort of have my ametrine hair, a little purple, a little brown, a little blueberry cola or something. Nimue got me this ametrine, and it's a donut, and it's like one of the most precious stones I've ever held. It's almost like a worry stone, where you can rub the worry stone. Like, this is a power stone. Like, I can squeeze this and just feel like, whoa. It's so funny because Nimue had put diamonds on my face whenever I was in San Diego, and Zephyr put these on my face today. And I really like it as an expression of sort of my femininity, my mysticism, that is more feasible with not being able to find a razor to shave my face. So it's like a subtle sort of makeup that I totally forget that I'm wearing. And so then I think back, I'm like, oh shit, what do people think? And I'm like, oh shit, I don't really care. And I'm like, oh shit, this is crooked. Crooked, girl. It is crooked. Oh my goodness. So, no one's here. That's totally fine. I feel like I do these for, anyone who may want to listen later, but this is really just for me to help develop a routine around sharing my perspective and, my creative expression, and practicing deepening my understanding of divination. So, how about we start with some numbers? If I can find my die. That's so funny, is I always forget, is it die or is it dice for a single one? It's like I have multiple dice, I have a single die, I have a single dice, multiple death, I don't know. So, we got 2. Alright, so there's this exchange happening, or even just the meeting of the other, right? And then we have 8. Oh, that's a really good number. 28. You have this cyclical nature of infinity, this foreverness, this understanding that everything is cyclical. Time is a loop. We know that it's all going to work out because we're here experiencing it. Like, we know that we evolve into that oneness eventually, or else we wouldn't have been able to create ourselves as we experience it now. It's like a whew. And that too is sort of confronting that otherness in that of time, of duality. And in that, the 8 and the 2, they make the 10, and then the 10 is stepping into our divinity, knowing ourselves inwardly as real, and knowing ourselves outwardly as, everything that is just the illusion, right? Which I've felt guided, I guess, to share my personal clearing a little bit more, like how I come into congruence with my surroundings, as well as enter my body more deeply. It's, kind of like a prayer or a mantra, and I encourage everyone to sort of make their own, in a sense. What is a way that you can equate who you are, with the awareness of what is around you, in that evolutionary perspective of allowing that identification with form to be just as it is, while stepping into the fullness of who you become. So mine is, may I see that I am all that I see before me. May I see that I am all that I see before me. And then I'll even bring it around. May I see that I am all that I see behind me. And in that seeing behind me, I don't have to look. It's like I can feel behind me. I can feel in front of me. I can feel above me, below, into the earth, and just feeling that sort of love spread. And it's love, but it's not like love. It's like just the awareness, the acknowledgement that we are love, that the most beautiful expressions of what we call love are just symptoms of us connecting with who we are and sharing that connection, and deepening in that knowing. May I see that I am all that I see before me. And I chose those words just as the syllables go, and I liked to sort of minimize the different sounds so that you're having this almost song-like experience. I had a moment not too long ago thinking about, you can channel anyone, right? At any time. I had an experience actually where a friend came to me in the shower and was like, "Oh my God, are you dead?" Because it felt like a mediumship experience. Whenever you feel that like otherness and you have, that sort of interaction. And it's like he wasn't dead. It was just like, I guess, the program of his avatar or the thought form as I had known it. Who knows? We were able to just like have like a deep dialogue of that connection that wasn't physical. And I'm still working on understanding what all that meant. But it actually then went to my former roommate. She came in, the one who who's wrecked my shit, and I'm preparing for this court date. Great news in that front so far. I think I found a legal situation, a lawyer type of thing. But thanks to Zephyr. But with her it was crazy because we had this interaction where I felt the energy of how she felt before she lost her mind, and it was something like I didn't expect to even remember. It was like that essence. And then behind that, I don't even remember what we like exactly spoke about, but behind that I felt that pain that she was trying to perpetuate on me, or through our relationship, as she does with all of her relationships, which is this. I remembered her saying in the very beginning when we first met, that she's like a rescuer. And in that sort of thinking she's a rescuer, that is like really her need that she keeps playing out, is to be rescued. And she, needed all of her people to sacrifice everything, to save her. And Lord knows I wasn't willing. And so she is like trying to take everything that she can. But that aside, I felt that pain, and not in a level of, oh, what a shitty person, but in like it hurt. It hurt me. And that's a huge part of forgiveness, I think, is, and maybe this is a part of this whole grief thing that I've been dealing with, with Scorpio, and just like stepping forward onto the new, being the fullness of who I am, is knowing that the people who cause pain, the people who play out these scenarios in this world that I wish I wasn't a part of sometimes, they're not doing it always consciously to cause the pain. They are literally like they're hurting. You know, it's a symptom of that hurting, and it's almost, you know, that sort of, I hate to say like nothing to forgive type of thing, but like you feel the pain. You know, it's like there's no retribution or revenge to be had in the, I don't want to say retribution. There's no revenge or punishment, because like they're receiving it in the moments that they do those things, or else they wouldn't be doing them. The 7 was out. And the 7 is, you know, that sort of egoic understanding of ourselves, coming into this mastery and this practice of what we know as ourselves, and really integrating our persona, our ego, the thought form we call ourselves, in such a way that we're able to have a, you know, a deeper conscious creative experience. But the shadow of the 7 is, you know, not being selfish or not getting caught up in the masks. We want to use the masks as a resource, right? To know ourselves. So let's pull some cards. Hey, Piper 530. If you would like, if you have a question or would like a general card pull, let me know. I am just babbling on here about just my experience and shit like that, and pulling some cards for the collective with the Deviant Moon deck. We have the Emperor in reverse. Boom, boom, boom. So there's this, you know, this authority. Who is the authority? And I think that's sort of that 7 energy is really stepping into our power, our authority over ourselves, and trying to maintain that balance of being, if we're the ones in control, because here we have the 10 of Swords, if we're the ones in control, then who do we have to blame? If we're not the hero, if this person is not the villain of our story, then how are we still the hero? Or, you know, whatever. How can we be that while still honoring our the paradigms of powerlessness at play in the world? And then we have the 7 of Swords, also in reverse. So it seems like it might be a self-inflicted show, and I think that's in reference to this sort of persona type of energy in the Emperor, like trying to claim our authority by perpetuating cycles of, I want to say violence, but it may not feel like physical violence, but perpetuating cycles of, you know, shame, regret, you know, sadness, the bad shit, the not fun feelings, and so that we can prove, you know, like, well, I am in control, because we don't feel empowered enough to make things better. So we almost like subconsciously even, you know, perpetuate these sort of cycles to say like, yes, I'm doing this to myself. I'm doing this to myself. It's like, why do I keep hitting myself in the head with a hammer? Because it feels so good when I stop. That's a Grey's Anatomy quote. I don't know where else it came from. Maybe like Mark Twain or something. So then we have the 6 of Swords. So the 6 of Swords, the 7 of Swords, the 10 of Swords, the Emperor. So this is very ideological and a transition that is being made through the way that we're believing in ourselves. Oh, I'm so glad that resonates. And then the 9 of Vessels, of Cups, in reverse it was. I'm a genie in a bottle, baby. Who's granting our wishes? Who is holding back, you know, holding us back from our dreams? Why are we not, you know, who do we have to blame? And it's like, if we can blame ourselves, at least we still have a hero and a villain internally. Very interesting. And then the 8 of Pentacles. So, we're working on it. We need to be patient with ourselves and find the joy and the passion and the self-growth and the finding of these sort of patterns. It can be exciting, and these look very sun. I'm very sun oriented. I just was given a ring yesterday. It's silver and it's got a sun on it. I saw a ring while entering this person's house on the floor. I don't know if it was a ring or a keychain. And I almost picked it up and I was like, oh, it's not my house. I can't just take this ring. Because I wanted a ring so bad that I almost took it. So that's why I stopped myself. Instead of just being nice and picking it up and setting it on the counter, I just left it. And then they gave me this ring. And they had this huge jar of rings. And of all the beautiful rings in this jar, this is the one I would have picked. But they just gave it to me. When I first woke up, a lot of people in their sort of baby witch days, they start with moon stuff. And for me, it was very sun. I'd heard about sun gazing and just light and that transmission of information. And what's interesting to me now, I'm so connected with the moon because I just did this full year of moon rituals. And so now, as the moons are building, I get that energy and I understand it. I feel on a deep level in a sort of, abstraction of synchronistic learning experiences. But it's funny, I think we're finding this sort of shift between masculine and feminine energy and their what's it called? Masculine and feminine energies and their roles, because we, formerly would think of the masculine as being more, routine and planning and set, but really that's the moon. The moon has these specific cycles, and you have to stay on schedule and plan these things and be more routine about it. Whereas the masculine sun energy is just very you can feel me or you don't have to, every day here I am whenever you want, just hey, I'm the sun. But it's very receptive, receiving sun energy. It's just just feel it. And I think that is so much what I forget to do, how I sort of struggle whenever I'm caught in my head trying to say I'm in a reading and I'm not being able to figure it out. I'm nervous, I want to impress somebody or whatever. It's I'm just painting by the numbers, reading the cards, instead of feeling that receptive, just allowing information to come. So yeah, felt called to share all that. So maybe this is the transition we're making in our ideologies, understanding how the mother, is our protector, our warrior, and also not responsible for any piece of it. It's the earth unconditionally drops us here and we can sink or swim. It's up to us, and that is the most loving thing we can do for any of our creations. Five of Pentacles in reverse. So who knows, really? This, one eye's closed, one eye's open. It kind of alludes to, being anxious, not knowing why you're anxious, but really not wanting to know why you're anxious. Just being yeah, I'm anxious. When we take those steps into facing fears, there's a lot of power there and knowledge that we never even expected. The Two of Cups. So there is, that essence of relationships, of creating, of building together, coming together even after this pandemic experience. And the Six of Pentacles, or is it the Four? No, it's the Six. Fucking Roman numerals. So, bestowing these gifts to the needy, feeling as the needy as I am. I'm just like a freaking beggar on the street. I have $111 fucking insurance payment thing, getting money, Zephyr buying me clothes today. It's just it's really hard for me to embody this beggar. I feel like I keep being. And it's well, what's wrong with the beggars? Why do I judge beggars? Why is that so bad? And, as long as we judge anything, we will inexplicably draw ourselves into that cycle. And back to that Five of Pentacles in reverse. So, how can we nurture empowerment in others? How can we share the things that we have, the gratitude, the joy, the things that are priceless, our love, while also, reaching for, asking for, and being open to receiving help. Because we can't do this alone. Oh my God, I have goosebumps. We can't do it alone. I want to so bad. But I already know the answer, so I'll save you the time. Love what you are sharing. Oh my God, thank you, Piper. I hope you like the Pipe R being Piper, because I love it. I would love to pull... Well, I can roll the die for you just to see if that maybe confirms or denies anything. Whatever. 12! So that's like been a recurring theme in... like when you love someone, or, any interaction we have. This theory of relativity, right? It's like there is us, there is them, and the third isn't necessarily a child. It is the entity that is the relationship itself. That is its own thing that we can't control. We can't control them. We can't control the co-creation with them. We can only, be ourselves, and honor ourselves, and honor our creation, honor our connection, and those, that three energy is... It can be abundant, but it can also be, the dark side of abundance is knowing that everything exists. It all is, the good and the bad. And we have to come into that sort of reckoning with, knowing it all exists, to fully honor, all the things that we can see and feel. And in that, timeless aspect of all of this, the seeing and feeling of this relationship, it exists forever, just like we do. And so that memory that we have of what it was, it will never be the same. Just like the world around you in this moment, it's never going to look the same again. And we can't just be like, oh, that moment, fuck, it was so good, I'll never be the same, so I'll never recover from losing that. It's like, we have to let that go. That's what the Scorpio full moon is all about. We have to be able to let it all die. Grieve it by fully honoring it, witnessing it, bearing witness in the fullness of who we have become. And I'm not saying that like it has to be, whatever, but thinking that it is whatever ultimately is the destruction of whatever that is, I just like my dog. Oh my God. I don't know physically how I will be okay when I lose her. And, as much as I'd love to hope that, I'll go first or something, or we'll go together. I have to accept that inevitability of losing her, that heartbreak. And in that, knowing that it will, end, I can cherish so much more her now, and fully honor what we have now. And knowing, because I've had very few romantic relationships as an adult, but I think I fear a lot of it because I love so deeply and easily, and have experienced such heartbreak from such bullshit nothing, that to not love is not better off. To love and have your heart ripped out is truly a gift. And grief is our power returning to us. When someone passes, they want us to take that love back. But that looks like, letting go. And we may not want to do that. And we don't have to, we get to choose. But that's what they would want. That relationship would want. And a part of that moving out of like the light versus dark paradigm. It's moving out of that sort of like, well, we have to embody that worst case scenario in order to not bring it upon ourselves because we're afraid of it. It's knowing that it's not inevitable. It is just another reflection. And how do we change that reflection, right? It's a movement within ourselves. It's not a physical action taken outward. And it's just like, I could feel the thoughts like going, and I kept wanting to like cling, 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 and I was like, I'm just gonna see where this goes, and drawing a blank, letting go of that, having to embody the worst case scenario. It's okay, yeah, when we want something, right, versus what we don't want. Instead of like, whenever I think of something happening and I'm like, oh, maybe I can manifest this, and then I feel that twinge of nervousness, I'm like, oh shit, I'm nervous, that means I'm afraid. It's like, no, that nervousness means I have power, going there, because you feel that, in your power center. So I know I can acknowledge, based on, what I know, that whatever does happen will be for a reason. There's a purpose behind it, and that, I think, normally clears up whatever blockage was making me, feel trapped to a certain timeline or whatever that fear was. It's like, I know I'll be better off whatever happens, better off than I am before the unveiling, as painful as and grievous as the unveiling is. I hope that helped. I hope that it wasn't too dark. I'm really going dark here just because of the Scorpio full moon, and the grief has been such a thing for me. I really, in just the past couple weeks, I've come to understand it in such a deeper way, and such a more benign, kind of like love is not, it's not a feeling, it is, right? So is grief. It's right there. It doesn't have to be painful. It's really, really empowering to truly honor that. And especially when we're dealing with a lost loved one, they are now more deeply connected to us than they ever were alive. My cousin died in 2019, and then so having mediumship experiences with him, like, I've realized, like, he is, so much more involved with all of us and the family than he could have been alive, or at least in the timeline that I was accessing, and I don't believe that, we're all existing in all these parallel realities, so like, he's still alive and, living out all those other things, but that's the reality that I needed for my highest evolution. So what a gift it is to have him, on my side, on the other side. Okay. I feel like that is good, and my phone's about to die, and so I'm going to wrap this up. I may go live on Facebook. If not, later tonight, because it is getting late and whatever, I might just get on to chill later. But tomorrow for sure, I'll be doing readings on lives to try to raise money for my shit. So tune in. Have a wonderful, blessed full moon in Scorpio. I know this one has really been prevalent in the collective. I don't know if it's just me, because I have 3 Scorpio placements, or if it's, and I'm like on the cusp, or if it's really like time to let shit go. I don't know. What a coinkydink, I guess. I love you all so much. No strings attached. Have a, how about I say you have a blessed full moon 3 more times, and then I'll hang up. Have a blessed full moon. Have a blessed full moon. Have a blessed full moon. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. Okay, bye.